Hi, and welcome to this video from Thrive Admin Services. Today, what I'm going to do is walk you through how you can set up a checklist in a task in Microsoft Planner, and then how we can link that task into your Outlook calendar so that you'll get the dates that you set as reminders, and we'll also have a look at how it feeds into to do. So these are ways that you can create one set of content or one set of reminders for yourself that will replicate into a couple of other ways. So let's get started. Okay, so to get started, the first thing we need to do is create a task in our planner board. So we're going to use Planner as our starting point, and then we'll work our way through and cover Outlook and To Do. So from your web browser, we're going to head to office.com, and if you've logged in before, it should recognize you and you should come up to your main home screen. You can hit the app launcher at the top here and open Planner. It will open it as a new window typically. So once we're in here, I'm going to do the work today in my test client planner, but you may have a client planner. This may be your own business planner, whichever way you're doing it. So I'm just going to create a straightforward task, and I'm going to create two tasks straight up so that we can see the difference and how they work. So the first thing I'm going to do is add task, and I'm going to have project 1 workflow, and then I'm going to create another one that is all right. So project 1 and project 2, not very complicated. We try and keep things really simple. You can see here's one that we did earlier that we closed off. So for project 1, when I open it up as a task, the first thing I'm going to do is assign it to myself so that it now recognizes that anything attached to this now belongs to me. Now, if I want to, I can add a label here. So I might mark this one as not yet started. I'm choosing that it's going to sit in my to-do bucket. So you can see in the background there, it's moved it across. And the next thing I need to do is I need to set some dates. So I'm going to say that this one is going to start from tomorrow, and it's going to run all the way through for a week, all right? You can add any of your notes. So I might have here, this is sort of my process where I would pop these things in, and I would have onboarding stage 1, onboarding stage 2, project, and offboarding. Okay, so here you can pop anything you like, and this will take as much text as you like. Anything you pop in here as a link, you can type the link or paste it. When you're working in it as an editable window, you won't be able to see what's going on, but once you've got it in there and you go back to see it, it'll actually be a working hyperlink. This is the next bit I'm going to look at, and this is my checklist. So this, I'm just going to talk about my projects. So these might have dates, but then they're the stages of my work. So I'm going to make these my checklist, all right? So discovery call, onboarding. This isn't normally what I would pop in a client one. I would normally have the actual steps we're going to work on in their project, but for this purpose, we're just going to do it this way, just because that's nice and easy for me to get done. All right, so you can see that's now set up. I've got all of this to happen in a week. If I wanted to, I can attach from team files. We'll open that test client OneDrive folder, and I'll be able to attach documents if I want to. But at this stage, I'm just going to leave it at a checklist. And at the moment, we've got the checklist showing on the card. If you want, you can only have one thing showing on the card, so we can pop the dates on. So I'm going to do that. So you can see this one, it's now allocated to me. It has a due date. There are 5 items on our checklist, and these are the 5 items. Okay, so at the moment, this checklist, this task has been created. It has a checklist, and at the moment, it only lives in Planner. So our next stage is going to be to link our planner with Outlook so that it'll sit in our calendar. Okay, Okay, so the next step, now that we've created this task with the stages that we need with dates, is to set up our planner so that it's talking to our Outlook. So we start by doing this all online. So don't open your desktop version yet. We're just going to do this online. So the first thing you'll need to do is up here where we've got all of our planner information, we're actually going to take the 3 dots or the ellipsis on the end there and click on that. And you'll see there's an option at the bottom saying add plan to Outlook calendar. So what it's basically doing is it's creating an iCalendar feed, and you can access it then so it creates a new calendar in your Outlook that you can overlay over your own one, over your main calendar. I love using this because it doesn't block time out or show time as busy and unavailable, because I use my calendar for other things so people can jump in. It also means I don't have to see this all the time. I can switch that calendar on and off without worrying about losing content. So this is a really handy way to do this. So if you are working with just, and I believe that if you can import an iCalendar link, I think you can into a Gmail calendar. So you may be able to do this if you're working on a Google workspace. I would suggest testing it before you take that as truth, because I don't work with Google. But if you're working with Outlook, they have an add to Outlook button, which makes life much easier. So if I hit add to Outlook, what it's going to do is it's going to automatically open up my calendar. And you can see I've got lots of different calendars. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go over here. So we're now looking at Outlook calendar online, so on the web version. And over on the left-hand side here, now again, mine may look slightly different to yours because I am working on a Mac, but there should be an add calendar function. If you click that, it's going to ask, you've got lots of different options here. What we're going to do is we're going to subscribe from web, okay? And all it's asking you to do then is to paste that link. So you copy and paste that link. You can give it a name. So I'm going to call this test client. And I would just call them each client, okay? So that just makes life much easier. You can pick a color for them. I love this. It is limited to the options that they give you at the moment. So if you were doing several different clients, my top tip would be to make all of your clients the same color. So you might have all your clients be blue, all of your business stuff might be pink or purple. And then, if you've got personal stuff or a different kind of calendar, something for social media or whatever, you can group them that way. So at a glance, you know what those different colors are for. So I am going to make my client work is going to be, let's make it red because it's very important. So the other thing Microsoft will let you do is set a charm for your calendar as well. So I'm going to make it let's make it this one because that's something that really suits me. And you can select where it sits. So you can pop it in your calendars or you can pop it all in the other calendars. Really doesn't matter. I usually pop them all in other calendars. It just makes life easier for me. But again, that's entirely a personal preference. And then import. So it's going to pull that calendar in. It's now saying it's been updated, so I can close that window. And now you can see that project 1 workflow. So I'm just going to turn all of my calendars off for a second. Just make sure we don't have any there. Right, so I've got, when we turn all of my calendars off, it will, so this is my personal day-to-day calendar. I've also got one that has the Australian holidays, which I think is a standard one. I've got a birthday calendar as well. But I can overlay as many of these as I like. So I can overlay test client. So this project here, if I click on that, so you can see this is all the information we popped in our task, and it's really handy. So it's got here, and if I click the little arrow, it will open it up. So it says it's project workflow. It belongs to test client calendar. It's not started. It has a checklist with 0 out of 5 completed. And this is a hyperlink that will take me back to my planner and open that task. So the next thing we're going to do is we're now going to show you how that will sync up with your to-do. Okay, so now we've created the task. We've added the calendar to Outlook on the web. I just want to show you quickly that it has also now synced. When I look at my calendar here, I've now got test client showing up in my other calendar. So this is my desktop version, and I can view that however I normally would. So here I can view that as a working week. And you see that's this. So you can see it's picking it up there and it's showing it as unavailable, which is why it's really handy when I overlay it with my, if I look at it just as, look at it as the week. When I look at it that way, I can see I'm supposed to be working on that, but I'm still fitting those things in. So it's not obstructing my view. It's also because I use my main calendar for people to book time with me, those sorts of things. It also means that I don't have to stress about people seeing my time as unavailable when that's not the case. So sometimes it will sync really quickly. Sometimes it might take a little bit. So you just have to be patient, but it will appear. And remember where you've decided to put it. So if you've not got other calendars open and you can't see it here, it may have popped up in that drop down. So as we go back to our planner, so we can close that now. So we've got it in planner, we've got it in our calendar. The next thing we want to do is be able to work in our to-do list and work with it that way. Because for me personally, that's where I work first thing in the morning. I have a look at what's on my to-do list. So I go into to-do. I have it on my taskbar. You can also view it. Again, we go back to home and you can view to-do here and it will open it up on the web. I highly recommend getting it on the local version. It's got a little bit more usability for me. But if I go in, get rid of that. That's my daily tasks, which I haven't done. I'll get rid of those. Okay, so now on the left-hand side, we've got all of our, these are sort of all the ways that they're grouped, and it's grouped in a few different ways, but I usually just start with planned. And as I'm looking at these, it's showing me everything on the web version. So the interesting thing is that, so let's search up here for project 1 workflow. See there? So that's showing up here. If I go to assign to me, it's going to show up because my assign to me doesn't show completed tasks as a standard. All right, so this is the web version and it's now showing up here. And this is how it looks when I do it here. Each of these items on my checklist are here now. All right, so if I want to, I can add other steps. So I could say I could add a step of invoice and testimonial. All right, because I'm like, oh, those are also important. It has a due date, and these are the notes. So I can see everything that's in that planner without having to open planner. And this is a really handy way to work if you want to be able to see everything across all of your different clients and different boards, because with planner, you have to jump in and out from board to board. So this is quite handy. What I'm also going to show you is that if I tick this one and this one off, oh, I love that sound. I've now ticked off those 2 stages. If I jump back into my planner and I refresh my screen, you will see it's now, so what it's done is it's added those 2 that we popped into planner. It's also marked 2 of 7 off. So if I open that up, you'll see it's marked these off. So they are automatically syncing and all of that information. So you only have to work in one app. So you can create it in planner, it's sitting in your calendar, and you're able to edit and update and manage it on the go in To-Do. I just wanted to show you before I wrap up this section, I just wanted to show you how it looks for me on my desktop version, just because it is a little bit different. So we'll shrink things because I've got way too many windows open and it's confusing. Oh, there's Sky's big face staring at you. So when I look at my to-dos on my desktop, so what I tend to do is I come in first thing every morning when I sit down at the computer, and this is the first thing I open. And it means I've got it set up so that when I look at the planned one, remember how it looked in the web version? I've got it broken down so it's all planned, and I sort it by due date. And it groups them for me. So straight up I can see today these things are due. And you can see I've got some stuff that's overdue. Tomorrow, this is what I need to get done. And then what we've got in there now, it goes by due date. So remembering that we set that project workflow to due date. So there it is there. And it's automatically picked up from our other versions that these 2 are done. These 2 are in here. Here is all the content. I can also add, I can edit these notes. So I can say this is complete. This is complete. This one is now in progress. And this one is to do, and this one is to do. Okay, so now I've done it in the desktop version. I'm going to jump back into this one. So if I'm going to close this one and I'm going to refresh this. So you'll see if I open this up now, all of that content that I've popped in the desktop version is sitting in my task. I've also now, if I open this one and I refresh this screen, I open this one. Why is it not doing that? Okay. There we go. When I click in there, all of those new elements are there. So this is a really great way to be able to work across several different apps and choose the one that works best for you. So I hope that this has been really helpful. I think it's a really clever way to keep your checklists and your to-do list, which might be paper version, and you can transfer them into something electronic that syncs automatically. So for reference, I have to-do and planner, both, and of course Outlook, on my phone. I have them on my laptop and I have them on my desktop. So wherever I am, if I'm out and about and someone sends me a message or there's a thing on the list and I can flick off a quick email that solves something, I can immediately keep that up to date. So I can do it from my phone if I'm out and about and someone sends an email and I can see that they've provided content or there was something that was the next step for whatever it might be. It's also really handy if I meet with a client and I'm there face-to-face in a meeting. I can literally go in and have Planner open while I'm hotspotting on my laptop, and I can create all of the tasks that they want me to do, and they're there then for me to come back and schedule and map later. So if you are not already using To-Do and Planner, this is another way that you can streamline your processes. You can get rid of some of the paper, and hopefully it will make your life a little bit easier.